the truth is, I got no work after Halloween. And so it was John Carpenter who wrote The Fog for me.
It's hard for me to talk about it because I invented it. It's a scary movie. And this guy's a scary character.
He's so simple, and so the best ideas are the simplest and pure, and he's a pure evil.
Did John Carpenter give you any advice?
His advice was always the same. Keep it simple and keep it relentless.
We are on the back lot of Universal Studios Hollywood talking to the cast of Halloween, the sequel. Yes, 40 years later, Michael Myers is back and he's terrified people like never before. If you're ready to go backstage with the cast, including Jamie Lee Curtis, this is Halloween. It's good to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Here we are on the Universal backlot talking Halloween.
I know.
In 2018. So my first question for you today is, how much convincing did it take for you to jump back into this?
Oh, none at all.
Really?
No. You have to remember, I'm a card-carrying freelance actor, which basically means I'm unemployed most of the time. And so I was doing nothing. I was on vacation with my husband. We were up in an undisclosed mountainous location somewhere in America. And Jake Gyllenhaal called me, who's my friend and godson, and he had just made a movie with David Gordon Green, the beautiful movie Stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he called me to say that he had done this movie with David, that David was very inventive and really fun to work with, and that David wanted to speak to me about a Halloween movie. And I spoke to David. He sent me the script. I read the script. I called him. And I said yes. I mean, that's
really as quick
that's
as
the extent of the. How hard was it?
Jamie Lee Curtis told me the funniest story. You know how she signed on with this. She got a call from Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's right.
Who worked with you. So you think these huge stories about these major productions, and then you hear how it happens. Fascinating.
Yeah, it's certainly an incestuous business in that way, and anything you can do to leverage an opportunity, you'll do it if it's going to be creatively rewarding. And I'd just gotten off of Stronger with Jake, and he knew I was trying to move forward with a Halloween movie, and I was going to try to sweet talk Jamie Lee Curtis into being a part of it, and so he laid the groundwork for me.
When did you realize how iconic and popular this film was when you made it, the original one?
I didn't.
Really?
No, because it didn't have that kind of meteoric success. It was a good success, and it was a building success, but it was not a big hit. And so what happened is, the truth is, I got no work after Halloween. It was my first movie. I'm the star of the movie. I got no work. And so the two jobs I did after the movie Halloween was a Love Boat episode where my mother was in it. Janet Leigh played my mother on a Love Boat episode where I was a honeymooning young woman with my husband, and my mother came on the cruise. And I got an episode of Charlie's Angels where I played Cheryl Ladd's best friend, who was a golfer, and I wrestled alligators. Actually, I didn't. Cheryl Ladd wrestled alligators. So that's the extent. That's what happened after Halloween. I got no work. I got a Charlie's Angels episode and a Love Boat. And so it was John Carpenter who wrote The Fog for me, because he recognized that I wasn't getting any work and he felt I should. I owe him so much.
What does he like to work with?
Oh, you've met him. He's a strange guy, quiet, kind of quirky, sweet, gentle, smart, talented. I mentioned a little quirky.
Yeah, you did.
A little quirky. And funny. And kind.
Why is now the right time to put this out? 40 years later.
Now is a good time to have a great horror movie come out. That's what.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's
After the Get Out movie, people are ready for this. They're ready to go.
Ready for a scary movie.
Yeah.
What fascinates us about this character in this story?
It's hard for me to talk about it because I invented it. It's a scary movie. And this guy's a scary character. Like I have to put it in simple terms. He can tell you more about it.
He's so simple, and so the best ideas are the simplest and pure, and he's a pure evil, and he might be have super he might have paranormal powers and might not. He's also mysterious. Hollywood loves a backstory. The more backstory you have, the less scary it is. The more mystery, the scarier it is. It's a brilliant, simple creation, and he's the scariest character, I think, in scary movies, for sure.
When you sat down to write the theme, how long did it take you to write that, by the way?
Well, not long. My father taught me 5/4 time when I was 13. And that's Halloween, is 5/4 time, simply.
But after you wrote it, did you say, this is it, this is the one, this is... Because I was at the screening last night, theme comes on, the theater went crazy. People are clapping, people went, including myself. I was like, yeah, this is so great. You hear that theme and you know it. So did you, when you wrote it, did you go, okay, this is...
No, I wrote it because I could play it. This is one thing I can play. It's real easy, and I can play this. I can't play it very well anymore. My son has to play it.
All right, I want to know what set this in motion for you. 40 years later, this is a classic story, iconic characters. What set this in motion to do this again?
An email from Jason Blum to me one morning that said Halloween ? And as simple of a inquiry as that was, and as vague and ambiguous as it was, I had a psychic premonition of what that meant. And I knew everything that was going to happen. I felt it in my legs, and I was very confident that I was going to be making a Halloween movie.
Is there fan pressure to do this right? Because I was at a screening, by the way, great crowd at the Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. Everybody's clapping, cheering. The reviews, just based on that crowd alone, fantastic.
Nice.
Everybody's really excited about this movie. But they hardcore fans. People were, certain things that you threw in there from the previous film. People knew just even the smallest things. Is there fan pressure to get it right?
Absolutely. I've never made a movie that had anticipation outside of my own pressure that I've created for myself. And you look at a movie even like Pineapple Express, that there was a lot of people turned out to see the movie, and that was commercially well received and critically well received, so that was really rewarding. But this one, it's a little bit of it's more of a cultural, historical movement that I feel you can't please everyone, and I'm making some pretty bold decisions with the way that we're approaching this film. Had to start from a personal place, and the way that my co-writers Danny McBride, Jeff Radley, and myself looked at it is if the three of us and John Carpenter can be satisfied with the end results of this movie, then we've done our job.
Did John Carpenter give you any advice? Did you go to him and say, am I doing this right? Or what are your thoughts? I know it's your movie.
At many points, from before we even wrote it to after he read the script to during production, when he'd visit set, and in editorial, his advice was always the same. Keep it simple and keep it relentless.
You have a Houston story. Share it with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I keep on my desk a Crystal Award for Worst Film of the Year that the Houston Society of Film Critics gave me.
Can I tell you that I'm part of that group, but I wasn't part of that year? I take it as a compliment to make something that you put your heart and soul into, make so audacious that people around the world despise. There's something very pure about that, so I keep it close to my desk, and my 7-year-old always comes in and makes fun of me for it. But that's funny. Thanks for sharing that.
Keeps you grounded.
Do you like the Halloween season? Are you a big fan of Halloween? I am.
I was a lot when I had children, particularly my little boy, loved Halloween. And I had a house where I hung skeletons from trees. And, we did a fairly elaborate thing, even though nobody ever comes and knocks at our door. Never, ever. But we would do a lot. I don't really do much now. I love it. It's a nice season. It's my birthday in November, so the fall is always a nice season for me.
So we'll end with this then. Do you have a favorite Halloween candy?
Candy corn. Duh.
I'm telling you.
I mean, seriously?
I love those.
Did you ask me? You could have just said Jamie. Candy corn,
and
right?
If I had known that, I would have gotten the biggest bucket.
You know what? They do hurt my teeth now. You know, there's a point where you eat that much
Right.
sugar and it's like, oh, apparently there's a little sugar in them.
There is.
Just a little tiny bit.
But as people are watching this right now, that's the one candy that when you say it, you know exactly how that tastes.
Right. And it puts a smile on your face. Candy corn.
So if you're ready for a good scare, this movie is absolutely terrifying. If you know nothing of the original that was released 40 years ago, can you believe it? Don't worry, just be ready to get scared. It's terrifying, it's suspenseful, it's thrilling. You're gonna love it. Halloween in theaters this Friday. Our travel by Universal Pictures.